obviously you want to be out front and you want to win the race. But if people are hanging with us, it's great because that means hopefully a lot of boats are going fast.
I think this is our third week together in the pair, and we hadn't rowed the pair at all before 3 weeks ago. And it's been going pretty well. I think we've been improving every day, each row, and I think we haven't really talked about our goals in the pair. Obviously the goal is to win, but I think I would be happy with top 3 finish. The good news on our team is that the pairs are all so close together in the racing that we've done so far that even the slowest training center pair is still a fast pair. So it's sort of wide open in terms of where the finishing order will be.
Throughout the entire winter, you'll do a lot of different pieces with guys from all over the team. So you'll switch around pretty much every week trying to find like a good combination. So we did a lot of that in San Diego, we did a lot of that here, and kind of just settled on Matt and I, and we had some potential and kept working it together and started getting some pretty good speed, so they kept us together, and now we get to try it out at the NSR.
I guess my goal has always been to win an Olympic medal, and historically the U.S. has done better on the sweep side of things. There's more support for sweep athletes, and Luke approached me and offered to sort of join one of the 2 boats that both got bronze last year at World Championships, so that was pretty an attractive offer. And I guess I'm a little fed up with the trial system, not because it's a bad system, but because I haven't done well in trial events. So I'd like to sort of get in a camp boat where there's more opportunity to prove yourself. And I would say the transition has gone pretty well. At first it was really rough. I would say my first week of January camp in Chula Vista was the hardest week of rowing of my life. Just the intensity, the volume, and getting on a boat with 1 oar rather than 2. But now I think my body has adjusted, and I'm more comfortable with what the workouts will be and where I stand. So I feel better about it now.
I think at the end of the day, it's just about getting your boat across the line. So you just have to do things like you learn in practice what works for you and what doesn't. Like where you get your most speed, where you're able to maybe add more or add less. Like sometimes, like some crews may be better starting quick and like keeping it, trying to hold that line all the way through the race, and some other guys might maybe finish faster. Like try and maybe hold off a little bit in the beginning and then try to add speed as you go out throughout the piece. At the end of the day, yeah, you race all your teammates, but you're trying to get your boat across the line as fast as you can, so you just got to make it about yourself.
We were able to establish a lot of continuity in preparation for London. And the one thing we did really well as a crew, all 4 of us, is kind of learn each other. And we know each other's personalities, how they row, what they do, what they like to hear in a race, where we just kind of match up together and move together and are automatically thinking the same thing together in certain race situations. So that's nice. And kind of like since we built that, it's there. So we kind of automatically think the same thing no matter what, which helps when it comes to this. So we haven't raced in a while together, but all the familiarities are still there. And I think that'll help on race day. But on the bigger picture, just get a couple 2Ks under our belt. Looking forward that, obviously the World Championships is the goal for this year, and this is kind of like the first step towards that goal.
It wasn't flat today. It was a little rocky, a little tumbly out there. We did a warm-up, typical warm-up, trying to get through it up to the start line. The loop was pretty wakey to start. Get on the course, and the first 200 meters was pretty flat, and for some reason I got lured into a false sense of security that the course is going to be all right. And then about 100 meters later, it changed completely. It was definitely that's probably the windiest conditions I've ever raced in.
The high strokes were good.
Yeah.
It was towards the start line. I think there's a little bit more protection, and then I think later in the race we took it a little bit more conservative. Fewer calls than we usually make for power or rate in the middle of the piece. a little low on the rate compared to what we're used to.
Yeah, I think our biggest race plan as we got into it was staying long, staying in the framework of keeping like the long strokes going as opposed to just trying to spin the high strokes and having really short and choppy strokes, because you want to be connected in water like that as much as possible to make sure that it stays straight, to make sure you're not catching any diggers, to stay clean. So that was the biggest thing for us, was just making sure that we were getting these full strokes in, and so we continue and not like have anything bad happen. You want to be able to row races like this in the best conditions possible, because it's going to show who are the top crews. So I'm excited about it.
I mean, it was a solid race across the board for our whole team. We were able to, have our bow out in front towards the end. Mike Gennaro and Grant James paced us pretty well for the first 1,000, which was good. But in general, our goal was to come and win. We were able to do that. There's still a lot of work to do. Lots of training, lots of speed to gain in the next until August. That's our goal, is to peak in August. So good first race. We have another race in 3 weeks. Looking for improvements then, and keep going through the summer.
I guess we just kind of stuck to our race plan. We changed it up a little bit from what we usually do. We tried to stay high and aggressive in the beginning, trying to get ourselves into the race. We figured if we could get ourselves into the race, we'd have a shot at doing something good. We'd have a good result. So we got into that. We settled into our base, kind of stayed collected for like a good 1,200 meters, 1,250 meters, and then just started calling the lift through the middle of the piece, just trying to stay relaxed, stay loose, and then bring the heat. I started sensing, other boats starting to push up. We started pushing up, and I guess I made 2 calls for the line in the last 250. We just kind of, I guess the best way to say it is just kind of turn the brain off and just let us, all the work we've been putting in, we just kind of reacted to the situation as opposed to maybe getting tense and freaking out.
Yeah, I would say in the beginning of the race, those longer high strokes sort of put us in a bit of a hole, or at least I felt like I was sort of burning up too quickly, and thought we were kind of in a bad position because I could sense that Glenn and Charlie next to us and Gennaro and Grant next to us had sort of gotten ahead, and I was sort of fearful that the rest of the field was also ahead of us. I took a glance over, and the guys on the other side were behind us or even with us, so I think that sort of gave us some confidence. Got a little breather in the second 500 to make a move and have a strong last 500.
I think that was the biggest thing for us, is just staying loose and realizing that we weren't falling behind at that point. Like what Matt was saying, there was that point where there was the thought that you might have lost with the pack, but then we started moving away from part of the pack, so we kind of kept with it.
The margin from first to sixth is really tight, and I think that's what the coaches wanted to see, and as a teammate of these guys who will be rowing with them, that's what I think we wanted to see, so it's encouraging. Yeah,
you drop straight out of the pairs and you go back into team boats now for a little bit, and it's good to see that everybody's close and at the same level.
I think the general plan for this year is to maybe give the pair a run if it's producing speed that's indicative to do well in the world. If it's going fast, we want to row it. I want to row whatever boat's fast. And we had pretty good speed in 2012, and we're going to try to get back to that level this year. And like I said, we have until August to get up there, hopefully, to go ahead and produce real good speed in the pair.
The competition is fierce within the training center. If everybody's pushing, you're going to get a good result hopefully at the end of the year. So you want to keep the competition as high as possible for the rest of just the pair rowing. Like we have another NSR in 2 or 3 weeks. You want to hope for the same kind of tightness with everybody, and you want everybody to get faster at the same time.